Vikings have won their first 2 games of a season for the first time since 2016, with Sam Darnold throwing multiple touchdown passes in consecutive games. I say I'm going to start with you. Which 2-0 team is least likely to make the playoffs? The Vikings, the Bucks, or the Seahawks?
I'm going to say the Vikings, man. Look, man. Look, fellas, man. Look, yeah, hey. I know that what we see from Sam Darnold is impressive. I get it. I understand. But I will remind y'all that week 1 was against them damn Giants. That's like a bye week, okay?
Hold on. Stephen, I knew that was coming. Stephen A., the Seahawks played against the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots. And you're going to immediately point out that Darnold looked good against the New York Giants. He just looked good against the San Francisco 49ers, one of the more elite defenses in football. It was in Santa Clara. Yeah, Darnold threw a pick. He didn't see Fred Warner. Fred Warner's one of the best linebackers of all time. I mean, the dude's just a legend. But outside of that, Darnold was very, very good. He made some big-time throws. He finished the game with an impressive stat line, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 17-26. He also did add in 32 yards with his legs. Justin Jefferson goes down in that game, and Darnold still plays well. That throw to Naylor is one of the best I saw all week, one of the best I've seen in a long time. Darnold looks extremely confident, man. I mean, pointing out the Giants, like, what? Who have the Seahawks beat? That's impressive. The Patriots and the Broncos are going to be at the bottom of the NFL this season. Like, I'm very confused right now, man. But continue, Stephen A.
All right, so you beat them week 1. You did beat San Francisco in week 2. I got to give it to you. Christian McCaffrey didn't play in that game. Deebo Samuel's going to be out. You know what I'm saying? He's not 100% healthy. We get all of that.
Yeah, but what is the correlation of Deebo? Well, Deebo did play in that game, and he played extremely well. But no Christian McCaffrey, why would that matter? Because he's not on defense, right? And Jordan Mason went 20 of 100 with a touchdown. Let's be real here. A Niners running back, I mean, this is the easiest team to play for if you're a running back, because Kyle Shanahan's the best coach in the NFL at drawing up run plays. And how many times has a Shanahan rusher gone over 1,000 yards? A different one? Even his father, it was the same thing. So being a running back in this scheme is not the most difficult thing in the world, right? Elijah Mitchell before the injury looked electric. And Jordan Mason, again, who was undrafted, I want to say. I'm like 99% certain he was undrafted. Yeah, he wasn't even drafted. And the dude has been with the Niners for a couple of years now, and he steps in and back-to-back 100-yard games. And he scored, too. So, I mean, no Christian McCaffrey. If this was a game just talking about Vikings-Niners, right? Yeah, I'd be like, that's definitely fair. Christian McCaffrey would have made a difference, obviously. But in terms of talking about, oh, well, I don't believe in the Vikings over the Buccaneers and the Seahawks because of Sam Darnold, well, it wasn't like Fred Warner or Nick Bosa weren't playing. The Niners had a healthy defense, and Sam Darnold played exceptionally well. That throw to Justin Jefferson, that throw to Jalen Naylor. The only reason this game looks close is because Aaron Jones lost a fumble on the goal line, right? And I'm recording this on Friday, guys, by the way, so the game was on Sunday, so bear with me here. But I don't agree with this take, especially the reasoning behind it, right? If you pick the Seahawks and the Bucks over the Vikings, okay, but to say that you believe in them over Sam Darnold, I like Geno Smith, right? I like Baker Mayfield, not to put words in Stephen A's mouth because he hasn't said that, but, I mean, he's saying you're not sold on Sam Darnold. Okay, so you're sold on Geno Smith. Baker Mayfield, I think it's fair to say I'm sold on him. Most people probably are at this point, but the Buccaneers, I do think have a better chance to make the playoffs than both of those teams, but in terms of who has the most upside, man, I think it actually is the Vikings. I think the Vikings have the most upside with this defense and this rush. With these weapons, you got Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, 10 for 82. What a game by him. That's 8.2 yards per carry, obviously. And then Sam Darnold, I mean, he's got all the tools to be a big-time quarterback in this league. I mean, you look at his size, 6'3", 225. He's athletic. He's quick. Good release. Just moves in the pocket. He's got a big arm. Darnold was the 3rd pick in the 2018 draft for a reason. I mean, he's a big-time potential player. And Baker, speaking of Baker, he leaves the Panthers, becomes very good. Sam Darnold leaves, becomes very good. I think Bryce Young is next, but that's besides the point. It's a little bit off topic, but Stephen A., continue.
But in the end, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I saw that chip pass Sam Darnold threw to Justin Jefferson, 70 yards in the air. It was very, very impressive. I also saw Sam Darnold over the previous 6 years. I'm not a believer as of yet.
Oh, my. Okay. I just see it's the arguments that get me, right? No issue whatsoever picking the Vikings last, but if obviously from a debate standpoint, because you can debate it, they're all 2-0 teams, but to say that I don't believe in Steve, why are we talking about the past, right? Sam Darnold is not the same quarterback right now than he was with the Jets or the Panthers. You are what's around you. No quarterback in the history of football was able to win on their own, was able to win in a bad situation. You've got to have a coach that believes in you. You've got to be protected. You've got to have weapons. And your defense, you can win in the NFL, I think, with a bad defense. It's not going to be easy, obviously, but I mean, if you have an elite offense like the Vikings do with Kevin O'Connell and these weapons and this scheme, and then your defense is like bad, maybe like 22, 23, I think you can still win in nowadays NFL. But the Vikings, I mean, they have an elite defense. Their offense is putting up a lot of points. They scored 28 against the Giants, and then against the Niners, how many did they score? Was it 23 at the top of my head? Yeah, 23. So that's pretty good, man. That's pretty damn good. That's going to put them, I don't know exactly where that ranks, but probably anywhere from 10 to 15. So, and obviously we know that the Giants game, I mean, it's the Giants, so it's not like they were trying to run up the score, but, and then the Niners game, again, that fumble, right? So you're looking at 23 versus 30. If they had scored that touchdown, we'd be having a much different discussion, I feel like, but certainly they didn't. So Sam Darnold's been 2 games, don't get me wrong here. He's got the Texans and the Packers and the Jets. So he's got 3 teams with very, I'm not going to say the Packers have an elite defense. I think that would be false, but the Texans, to me, do have an elite defense, and the Jets have an elite defense. And then the Packers is a divisional rival on the road against, like, in Lambeau Field. So that's going to be a very difficult game. So Darnold's going to have to prove himself some more. But from what we've seen through 2 weeks, I genuinely believe the Vikings have more upside than the Bucs and the Seahawks, right? I think the Bucs, yeah, they beat the Lions. It was kind of a sloppy game, but I don't know if the Bucs are going to be able to make a lot of noise in the NFC playoffs, but I think the Vikings can. And I think my biggest thing is just with how good their defense is. They have the best defense of that bunch. They've got the best offensive mind in Kevin O'Connell. I just look at the Minnesota Vikings, and if their biggest concern is Sam Darnold, then that says a lot about how good they are. Because Darnold this season, I mean, he's 4th in QBR, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, 476 yards, puts him in the top 10. He's used his legs well. And on tape, he's always going to look better than his statistics. So statistically speaking, that's still really good, but his tape doesn't lie. Everyone says tape doesn't lie, tape, tape, tape. Well, Sam Darnold's tape has been spectacular. And if he continues to do this, which I think he will, the Vikings are going to make noise in the NFC. And it's all about upside. I said all summer, I think the Vikings are going to finish last in this division, but their upside is through the roof. Like, if they finish first, it's not the craziest thing. Like, I think I said in one video specifically, and I quote, the Vikings will finish first or last. There's no in between. Like, the Bucs, I do think, are kind of like a dark horse team in the NFC, but I just like the Vikings more. And we'll see who the real Vikings are these next couple of weeks. Yeah, they beat the Niners. That's great, but now beat the Texans, right? Now beat the Packers on the road. Now beat the Jets.